Hi, how you doing? This is Rich from Rich TV Live, and I'm here with a very special guest. It is Amanda from Indonesia. How you doing today, Amanda?
Good morning. I'm doing fabulous. How you doing?
So what? It's morning for you right now?
Yeah, it's 8:50 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, happy first day of summer, by the way.
Yeah, you look very summery today.
I feel summery. Look how hot it is. Like what?
Oh my goodness. Whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa. Go back to the pool. Back to the
oh well,
pool.
you.
I
When
want
we're
to
done, I am.
I want to see the
Sure.
picture of the pool again. I don't got
Is
one
it
of those. Oh yeah.
fun
That's
up?
sweet. That is sweet.
Yeah,
That's
I'll be
nice.
keeping it in soon.
That's
No
really
worries.
nice. So what, you just wake up and just jump in the pool every day?
Usually, and before I go to bed too. It's kind of nice.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
it's like a big bathtub, just not as hot as I want it to be.
So does it get cold in Indonesia?
Some days, well, I've been here for what, 14 months now. So I'm acclimatized. So I'm kind of a wimp to cold. Like, I was on my bike the other morning. It was like 7 a.m. And I was thinking, I think I need to go home and put on a sweater. And then I looked at the weather and it said 24 degrees. And I was like, oh my God, man up. So, woman up, sorry.
24
Anyways,
degrees.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I can't, I'll never survive Canada again. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No.
why would you want to come back to Canada if you're in paradise every single day?
Exactly. I can't. We get rain, but it doesn't last long and it sounds nice, so no complaints.
So
Yeah.
we got Scott here with us. How you doing, Scott? If anybody that's joining wants to tell us where they are, I am in Vancouver. This is Rich from Rich TV Live, your host, and I'm here with my co-host today, Amanda from Indonesia, who is in Indonesia. Sometimes you're in Bali, some days you're in Indonesia. So, what's it like right now? Are you even doing any trading anymore out there?
I just started again this week. Like I took a few months off. I was busy doing villa renos and that kind of thing. And so yeah, now I'm back at it. It took me a couple weeks of research and catching up to get my groove back, but I've been back in for like a week now.
So,
So yeah.
what do you think about the big news regarding canopy growth? Let's get right into it.
All right, let's get on it. All right, big news on Canopy. Everybody was waiting for Q4 to come out. I get that. Wasn't expecting these kind of losses. So I think a lot of people weren't, which is why it kind of had a little tank. However, like you and I talked about, there's like what did you say? It takes money to make money, right?
Yes,
So net profit of 94 mil and a loss of 323. But it's only been the first couple of years, right?
absolutely.
And I do know for a fact from a friend that's in our community who said they're also building this huge extraction facility that's not been announced big yet. And so I think as soon as edibles come out, they're going to be rocking. So I kind of do think next quarter is going to be a lot nicer.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the dead of summer. I just want to say hi to Danny Boy Case, who's in chilly Southern California. Chilly. Southern California's chilly. Scott is in Rochester, New York, and it's around 70 degrees.
Oh
And
my
here
God.
in Vancouver, it's got to be probably about, yeah, it's probably about 70 degrees. It's probably about the same.
We are, what am I here? What's 28? How does that convert?
28. So I always convert it. 32 is 0, and 28 times 2 is 56. 88? Is that right?
Yeah, at 9
Whoa.
a.m.
Whoa. That's, damn, that's hot.
I know. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Wow.
But I'm not melting yet, so it's okay.
32 plus 56. Yeah, it's 88. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. But I guess
Not so
that's
bad.
it's the summertime,
Halfway.
right? So that's like it's the summertime, so it's gonna get hot, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's rain season's over, so every day it's pretty much cooking. It gets a little humid, but that's why I have a pool. So
So
yeah.
Bruce Linton was on BNN Bloomberg today, and I'm listening in, and Bruce Linton says, the cost of doing business when you're trying to be the global leader in an industry that is growing as fast as the cannabis sector, there's going to be losses because everybody is showing losses. But when you're the biggest company, you're going to show the most losses. Now, like usual, the shorters, the haters, the panickers are going to jump off the boat. They're going to talk about the losses because it's a great opportunity to short canopy growth down. When canopy growth goes down, everything goes down. And anyone who knows that I've been watching canopy growth, I always used to say they were LeBron James. They were the biggest and the baddest stock in town. They were LeBron James. Maybe now we got to call them Kawhi Leonard after the Toronto Raptors just won, the NBA championship because, he's the man now. LeBron's getting old. But canopy growth is the biggest, baddest cannabis company in the world. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to be the biggest, baddest cannabis company in the world, if you're going to be expanding and growing and building infrastructure to be able to grow cannabis and sell CBDs, grow hemp, and be in the cannabis sector and in the edible sector and be a leader in all of those areas on a global scale, don't you think that's going to cost you some money?
Absolutely. Like they have to do some investments to make it happen, right? And I think there's probably going to be quite a few more. Either way, I truly don't mind because I wanted to get in this week before revenues, and I didn't because it just wasn't, I don't know, I had other things I wanted to put my money in, like Xena and MedMen. But, I mean, this might just be a good thing for Monday. Could be a great entry. And we're going to ride it up. I mean, it's going to be huge. Look what happened with Tilray. Like, they're not even close to being as big as Canopy, and they reached $300. So, there's no need to say that won't happen with Canopy soon enough. Because they're kicking it.
I think Tilray is a unique situation too because they have a smaller float, right? They have a smaller amount of shares. If you look at IIPR, have you been watching IIPR?
Well, I did in the beginning, but I haven't been back at it. It kind of left my list for some
Yeah,
reason.
you got to take a look at IIPR. It's just ridiculous. So this thing started at like $45, went to this week, like last couple of days, it was as high as 137.
And they're on dividends too, right?
And they pay dividends, and they have a very tight float, under 10 million shares. So one thing I'm noticing with these low float, tight float stocks, because they don't have a lot of shares out there, there's nobody really selling. So they seem to be able to move with more explosiveness, but as quickly as they explode up, they can also come back down. So you have to be very, very careful. Right? This is the problem with these stocks, right? So did you see Kern this week?
No, I didn't, but I heard about it. Were you in on it?
No, I wasn't in on it, but our community, we were watching it and we saw it explode. Some members got in and did very well. Dan, the IT guy, congratulations, Dan. He made 100% on it. So
Dan, nice work.
Yeah, it came out and just exploded 224%. First day. First IPO day. So new IPO, boom, cannabis company explodes right on the NASDAQ, up 100, 200, 224%. Then aftermarket goes up another 30%. So it goes up 250%. Also another tight float stock, 7.8 million shares, I believe. So really tight float. So I've been noticing this trend. Hey, how you doing, Scott Norris? Thanks for joining us. I've been noticing this trend where these companies with these tight floats, they just absolutely explode. And Kern did that, but it's come back down now. So we need to be careful. You don't want to be chasing something that goes up 200%. That's how the market makers get your money.
Oh, agreed. 100%,
right?
Especially with an IPO. I've been screwed over by IPOs a couple times because my excitement got the best of me. So I've learned now I like to research my stocks before I get in, but sometimes FOMO kicks in and, it happens. But because of what happened with Kern, I could not leave Slack alone. Like, I couldn't.
You bought it?
What if? Yeah, I did. Only for a couple hours. Like, my trading starts here at 9:30 at night, and I sold by 1:30 a.m. So took a nice little profit and went to sleep. So I was stoked about it. But when I woke up, I was like, first thing I was doing was checking, like, what else did I lose? But yeah, I was just in for a couple hours. But it worked.
But look at what Kern did. It opened up, went from like $20 to $50. I think it went to 70. If I remember correctly, I think it went to 77. And now it went down 25% today. It's right back to $27.
Okay, FOMO hard then. Well, give it some time.
I wouldn't be chasing these stocks. You need to be very careful when you're investing in anything. I wouldn't chase anything. Look for great companies and look for a dip and buy the dip. Buy in the red, and when you see a move to the upside, sell in the green. I think that's the only way to trade these stocks, because otherwise you're going to get caught and you're going to get hurt, and it's really brutal what happens with these stocks at times.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's been going on 3 years of trading cannabis stocks for me now, and I was, in the beginning there was only a handful.
Yep.
So of course we're, jumping in and learning them and getting used to the patterns. And then last year, my FOMO was big. So I bought, the tried and trues, and then I was playing with some smaller stocks. And by the end of the year, I was bag holding on so many, and I'm like, all right. So when I recovered from those, what would that have been, March-ish? I think March, April, we had a good run. I just got out and I said, 2019, for the rest of it, I'm just trading my tried and trues, the ones I know the patterns, I know their companies. I'm not messing around with the little guys anymore. And then I can buy in at a bottom and sleep at night.
I agree with you. And that's something we've had to learn from just trial and error. Yeah. We've always had the best ones, but we're always dreaming of those home runs, those grand slams. But the reality is we already had the best ones. We should have just stuck with them. And had we just stuck with the HMMJ ETF, which I still like because they have a very good dividend, and Kronos Group, which has gone up over 1,000%.
Yeah. And
Canopy Growth, which is up over 1,000%. And Aurora Cannabis, which is up over 500% since I started, in 2017. And Afria, which is up over 500% since I started in 2017. And Organogram, which is up over 500% since we started and I look back, I'm like, okay, had I just bought those 5, which were the first 5 I bought, and had I just stayed with them and not even traded, just bought them and just accumulated those, we wouldn't have to be doing anything else.
Yeah. Well, look at Justin in our community. I can't remember how much he said he started with in Aurora when it first started out, but I know he just killed it on that, just holding. I mean, he's upscaled with his trading, but still, I still think, I don't remember how much it had Aurora originally, but it was under $3 anyways.
I think we all had Aurora really cheap. And, Aurora's made some big runs, and I still think that it's going to have some huge runs. But
absolutely, I still trade Aurora commonly.
Real quickly, I just want to say, hey, Anthony Alvarez, how you doing? And hi, Nick, how you doing? Nick is saying, I got killed today, Rich. How about you? You know what? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think? When the whole cannabis sector goes down, what do you want me to say? I had a great day? No, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I hold a lot of cannabis stocks. It wasn't a good day. But for the whole week, it's been going up. So, you take the good with the bad. I've been just, trying to position myself in the best opportunities. There's some good ones out there. And I think a lot of good ones are really low right now. So this is a great opportunity for us to really kind of take advantage of the fact that there's some really great companies like CanTrust that are really cheap, Kush Bottles that are really cheap, Ianthus that are really cheap. I think that Afria is getting into a buy zone. I think that Aurora is getting into a buy zone. I think that Canopy Growth is getting, especially today, looking at today and say, okay, well, maybe next week it continues to go down. Or maybe it comes right back up because it is a giant and they are doing giant things. And that's what the money's being used for. They're not using this money to go out and party. Right?
Hope not.
Well, I mean, Bruce Linton was on Bloomberg and BNN Bloomberg today, and he said, we're using this money to become a leader in extraction, edibles, CBDs, and flower on a global scale. That's going to take money. Yeah. And he's like, and we have the money. We didn't borrow the money. We have the money in our bank to do these things. And he's saying that it's not going to continue because it's kind of like he has to do it now so that they can start to really maximize on edibles legalization, CBD's legalization on a global scale, cannabis legalization on a global scale. And Bruce Linton essentially is saying that Canada is very small.
It is. It really is. Like, even just look at California. Like, California, what has the same population or more population than Canada alone? And then I think a lot of our big companies like Canopy, Kronos, Aurora, etc., have been going global. And of course, everyone's going to go with them because they already know the game. So why even bother in these other countries that are going to legalize to start with new companies, right? So I think we have a global market cornered, and we got to be the first, which is super cool. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because we're in a sector that is pretty exciting, and I don't know if you've been watching cryptos, but cryptos were dead, like dead. Like Bitcoin was dead. It went down to under 3,000. It's back to like 10,000 now. That's a crazy run. Like to go from like 3,000 to 10,000. So like a lot of people, even within our own community that bought Bitcoin under 3 or 4,000, they've doubled or tripled their money now almost.
That's crazy.
And I mean, within like a few months, like it went from zero to hero. I mean, that's how crazy the markets can be. And it can't be explained. In January, while I was in the Dominican Republic, sitting on the beach, all the cannabis stocks exploded.
I know. I remember this.
After everything was getting crushed for all of middle of October, November was terrible. December was terrible. And then right around Christmas, it all just started to kind of come up again. And then in January, it was like rocket fuel. Like whew, everything exploded. And we're like, wow, cannabis is hot. Aurora was at $15, like Aurora exploded, like I think it was $13. So, I mean, everything was going up and everything was higher. And, but like everything that goes up eventually, went up and it had to start coming back down. And we're in that period now where it's come down and everything's pretty close to the bottom.
I know, but like I was saying earlier, it's so hard to see where the bottom is going to be because last year at this time we had a big catalyst. Like, wasn't it June 21st last year that we had the Senate vote and everything was just like, and we made a ton of cash. We don't have that this time, and it's summer. So, as per every summer, people pull their money out of the markets and come back in when school goes back, right? So I'm just kind of like, well, maybe the bottom will be a little bit more. But then, I don't know, because like I told you, I missed my bottom on Tilray. And then it took off on me again. So it's like, you just have to watch it so closely right now.
You got to date the stocks. It's always the same. Yeah. Just date the stocks, date the stocks. Let's just go through some of these messages here.
Yeah. Okay, so
let's go through some of the messages.
Mark, do you still, Amanda, do you still like your own prep? Nah. I've been out a while. Sorry. Straight up, nah. I've been out for a long time, like a really long time, just because they weren't doing a damn thing, and I'm not that patient. So, sorry.
Felix Garcia says MedMen went up at the end of the day today. Yeah, I love MedMen, and I know Amanda loves MedMen, and MedMen to me is a company that is too big to fail. And they are spending a lot of money, just like Canopy Growth is, and that's what everybody keeps talking about. But once again, another company that is going to be one of the biggest companies in America, one of the largest. Well, America is the largest consumer in the world. So, if you're the biggest player in America, and America eventually legalizes cannabis, then you know that MedMen is going to be huge, and they already are big. But they have massive losses similar to Canopy Growth. This is what the industry is. And
they're still building big stores in preparation for legalization as well. And yes. I've been to their stores. I went to the one in LA and I was mind blown. It's like, oh my God, it's like cannabis wonderland in here. It was beautiful. So, I mean, it's first class service in buying cannabis products. And I think they're going to stay that way. So yeah, I'm in. I love MedMen, and I don't sell it often. I just stock up on every dip.
Yeah, it's a good company. Obviously, it's been beaten up, all kinds of bad news. Those are the ones that, if they are fundamentally sound, and hopefully they are, those are the ones that can really explode, right? When the market comes back and has another big run like it did in January. And typically that's what this cannabis sector does. You know, when you listen to BNN Bloomberg, I know you probably don't too much in Indonesia, but
Don't get
here,
it, Justin.
yeah, here it's on the radio every day. So whenever I'm in the car and I'm driving around town, and I'm listening to BNN Bloomberg, every time somebody asks an analyst if they're buying cannabis stocks, they always say no.
Well, they're missing out, first of all. But
I'm
I think
telling you, the big funds do not touch it. They do not touch it. The big funds do not touch it.
that's what happened with tech in the 90s, though, too, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying they're right. I'm just telling you, these big fund managers here in Canada, they're very conservative. You know Canadians. They're very conservative. They're not touching them. I don't know.
I get why, though, because look how many people, like, even in our community, I mean, even in our community, every time something goes down by like 10%, even though you have 2 years of patterns, people get all stressed out. And so imagine being a fund manager and getting your phone ringing off the wall all day. Oh no, I'm down 10%. Like, really? I think just because of the volatility, that's why they're not in. It doesn't mean we shouldn't be in. Like, we have so many. I mean, if you're doing like you should do, buy low, sell high. If you like, and I've been telling other people that I'm helping to learn trading, I'm like, if you study your charts and look at over 1 year, 2 years, and you see all these highs and lows, and you do the math on how you compounded your cash, you're killing it. So it's just they're not into compounding; they're into
Well,
stability.
it's a very difficult market to day trade because when it's good, it's very good, and when it's bad, it's very bad. So if you're day trading them, you got to kind of go with the trend. And when the trend is good, like I said, they're very good. And then when the trend is bad, you have to short. I mean, that's what it is. That's what this market is. And it seems like it's almost, I almost feel like I need to short because I feel like during the downtrend, it's like everything is down. And then on the uptrend, everything is up. Or you just got to stay in cash, wait for the next momentum. And when the next momentum comes, you're almost safe in those times because everything literally climbs together. And when the market's bad, everything literally goes down together. Like, look today, cannabis growth goes down big, 7%, and the whole sector's red.
I told you my whole watch list was red, aside from two, and they were just small greens. So that was the thing, though. Like, I cashed out on a lot of my stocks. I think it was end of April, beginning of April, end of April, just after our last big run. And I stayed in cash. And now I'm just like bottom hunting, trying to find, I need back in. It's like a horrible addiction. I need back in. But I want back in on bottoms, and I'll wait for the next run.
Yeah, be patient. Like, you know what I was saying? Like, we're gonna chase bottoms. Like, but at the end of the day, like, I'd rather chase a bottom in a market that I can see is no longer like a bear market. You know, because if it's always gonna be in a bear market, why are you chasing it? Like, it might go lower. I mean, we're just starting summer. Typically, summertime is always bad for the markets. Last year was an exception because it's
Because of the catalyst.
yeah, it started because of legalization in, I would say, middle to end of July. They started. You can look at all the charts. They all started in middle to end of July. So we're getting close to that point. We're not far now to middle to end of July. We're less than a month away. So there are signs that we may have found the bottom. If you look at all the charts, you can see there are a lot of bottoms. Like, we're at a lot of 52-week lows. Ianthus is pretty low. CanTrust is pretty low. Kush Bottles is pretty low. These are good companies.
Medman.
C-Web and MedMan for sure. Zenibus, Aleafia Health. Some good companies that have big potential that are really, really low right now. Aurora Cannabis, Afria have been way higher, both of them. So there's a lot of lows right now. Trulieve. These are all companies that were trading way higher. Acreage. They were all trading way higher. Tilray, even though it's at $50, like you said, it was trading way higher. So there's a lot of signs that we're finding the bottom. I believe we may find a little bit lower. I wouldn't think it would go more than 10 to 20% lower than where we're at. but I
I
see
think
the upside being like 50 to 150%.
or more. Like look at Zena. Zena's been up to $6 not that long ago,
That's right.
and we're at what were we close at?
Dollar.
$1.72, $1.71.
No, I think was it $1.65 or something today.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right, you
because
win. But
they had some bad news that they had to recall some, what is it? They had to recall some product that had too much THC in it.
like that's a problem. But yeah, no, I get it.
Zenobus runs a very tight ship, and they don't like to make those types of mistakes. And the thing I like about them is they'll own up to it.
hmm And they're gonna have a beautiful up on it. So I mean, I'm loading. I'm loading up on Xena. Loading because I know it's gonna be a nice explosion. Because I mean, 300%, like that's not bad, and it's not gonna take long to get there either.
Yeah, Danny Boy here is saying Alifia ended the day at just over 85 cents USD, thinking it'll drop more next week for buy. I can't believe how low Alifia is.
No, last time I sold it was just over $2. I haven't owned it in a while. I used to really love it, but yeah,
It's
they just
crazy.
haven't been doing too much lately.
Check this out. Where is it?
Anthony,
Huge,
Chiron
yes. Sorry, Huge just got their license today. Flour and dried sales, says Aaron.
I lost my faith. I lost my faith in Huge. I don't know
Yeah.
if I can.
It's hard to believe in them at this
Not
point because they haven't shown any sales. But obviously they needed the license to show sales. So this could be a start. This could be a catalyst, and it's dirt cheap. But they got 1 billion shares, so be careful and beware. Buyer beware. Remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. Do your due diligence, do your research before you invest in anything that we talk about here on Rich TV Live. I'm not a licensed advisor. Amanda's not a licensed advisor. We're just investors just like you guys, and we're trying to figure out this Rubik's Cube. It's like a Rubik's Cube, and it just keeps changing and turning, and you're trying to find the right recipe. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be successful in the markets. The reality is 98% of the people that play in the markets lose.
Yeah. I think the difference is study. learn your companies, learn your patterns. I've had some, like I told you last year, I had some FOMO and did some bag holdings. Don't FOMO. What did Harry said that a long time ago, and it always plays in my head. Thou shalt not FOMO. So every time I want to, I remember that little comment because it's true. It'll get you every time.
And it gets me. I started off this year so good, and then I started FOMOing, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I look back, and all of those companies are companies that are $3 or less.
Yeah, that
So
was mine too.
I started to realize and analyze my trading style, and I said, you know what? I got to stop playing with these smaller companies. I'm going to start buying the big ones because the big ones are doing well. Mind you, it's scary too because even the big ones, the big fund managers, the big institutional investors, they're not buying them either.
It's true.
So we have to all be careful and realize that this entire sector is so new and nobody really knows where anything's going to go, right? And there's a lot of volatility and there's a lot of risk involved. There just is. And,
There's a lot of history out there already in the good companies that have already made their marks. So that's why I think we're safe. What is there, like over almost 500 cannabis companies trading right now? Do you know the number on that?
over 400, that's for sure.
Over 400.
Yeah, I know
So
there's over
that's-
400.
You can't just play that game. That's too much.
Yeah, and that's where it gets dangerous when you start playing with too many of the small ones, and the small ones keep going down, and it's really the big ones that have been going up. So it's probably a better idea to invest in the ones that the institutions are positioning themselves in, because typically they're not going to go up and down with as much volatility and violently as the smaller ones. Anthony
and not
has
spread cash too thin. Like 10% on 10 G's is 1,000. 10% on 1,000 is only $100. Like, what do you want to make? So
Exactly.
I'm trying not to spread myself thin anymore.
that's smart,
Uh,
very
no
smart.
thinking.
And a question from Anthony Alvarez: what do you guys think about Chiron, Alexinol, Cell Sciences, and Enthusiast Gaming?
I love Chiron. Lexinol, Anthony brought that like a long time ago, and I started looking at it, and then it dropped off. Others I'm not familiar with. What about you?
Well, Enthusiast Gaming is a gaming company that I'm very familiar with. I think I was the first one ever to talk about it on YouTube. It went from 90 cents to $1.70 plus. It doubled. It was one of my best picks of 2019 so far, and hopefully we'll have more better picks. And Chiron has been on a big run. They have Vicente Fox, who is former Prime Minister of Mexico or President of Mexico, on their board. They've had a big run as well. They recently came down off a big run, but I think they're still up overall. I like those two a lot. When I say I like these stocks, I don't mean buy them, okay? I mean I like them, but you want to buy them at the bottoms, okay? Buy dips, buy as low as possible, buy as low as you can get. Now, as far as the other two, Alexinol, I've been watching a little bit, and I'm intrigued. Cell Sciences, I need to do more research. People keep asking me about it. I got to do a little bit more research and due diligence. But it's not, something that I'm interested in buying at this point. But Chiron, I might buy. I definitely interested in them. Enthusiast Gaming, I might buy as well. But I'd like to get them both a little bit cheaper. And, but yeah, I think that those two are very, very interesting. And Alexinol, if I had to rank those four, I'd probably put Enthusiast Gaming 1, Chiron 2, Alexinol 3, Cell Sciences 4.
All the four, I think Chiron's my only one, just because I think they're going to be huge, like Canopy of Mexico. So
wow,
that's why I rolled them out. I see someone, Lyndon, I lost my faith in Namaste. Ditto. Ditto. What's it trading at right now? It's like so small.
Oh, like 60 cents? Last time I looked, it was like 60 cents.
Last time I sold, it was over $3. I haven't touched it since it was 3 something. So yeah, hell no. But we did say that 2019 was going to be the year of True Colors coming out. And so it's nice, sometimes you want to be loyal to some, but you got to just drop them and leave them dropped when they're not working out anymore. I think they have too much stuff that they haven't worked out.
So many messages. So I'm trying to keep up with these messages.
No, me too. I'm just like, World Farms, Aaron.
So everyone, okay. So real quickly, Anthony is saying we need to look at Vapor. So Vapor is a sub penny stock. So I just want to make sure everybody be careful. It's a sub penny stock. So super risky when you start talking about sub penny stocks. But it's in the CBD space, so that's why obviously it's gonna have some attention. Because anything in the CBD space right now seems to get attention. But it also has like billions of shares. So I would be very, very careful if you are interested in looking at Vapor. But I'm not here to tell you what to buy or sell, guys. I'm not here to tell you should or shouldn't buy Vapor. It is a sub-penny stock. I just think that penny stocks are highly risky, highly volatile, and everyone should be very careful with them.
I know that Erin is an awesome trader. She's been in our community for a long time. She said, I bought World Farms pre-IPO. I miss World Farms. I don't know about it. Do you?
World Farms?
Yeah. World Farms she bought pre-IPO. And I really know.
Is that a new pick, or is she talking about ICC International World, WRLD, the symbol?
Erin, school us.
I mean, there's so many companies out there. There's so many IPOs. It's hard to keep track of all, like with over 400. It's just crazy.
What extraction companies do you like? Really? All my, thinking about edibles, of course, is what comes to mind with extraction right now, just because I'm trying to position myself for what was October, now December. I think my favorite, Sproutly, just because they've cornered a cool market with their nanoparticles. And Canopy Growth. I know that they're building a huge extraction facility, and I think it's going to be ridiculous when it's done. So those are my tops. What about you?
Extraction, I own Labs. I think Labs is huge. I think Labs is going to be one of the best. Valens Growworks, I think for extraction is one to watch. I really like them. I don't own them, but I really like them. I think Radiant Technology is going to be a giant. I don't own them right now. I have in the past, and I'm thinking about buying 10,000 shares. I really like Radiant Technology because they are right now working with Aurora Sky in Edmonton, and they are going to be their partner, and they're right now doing extraction, and they're going to be Aurora's partner for all their extraction.
Okay.
I think that is a no-brainer because that means that Radiant Technologies is going to start to generate crazy amount of revenue. And right now they have very little revenue. So when that revenue grows exponentially because they start doing all the extraction for Aurora and we start seeing their revenue grow like MediPharm Labs has, who just reported 22 million last quarter. If we see Radiant Technologies start reporting 20 million a quarter, I mean, we could see them trade, at $5 like we've seen MediPharm Labs trade. And right now, Radiant Technologies is under $1.
I gotta look back in on that. I remember when it came up, and again, not trading for a couple months. There's so much I missed. I'm really glad we're doing this. I'm catching up.
David Wins is saying his big three are MedMen, Xena, and North. I like all three. I'm starting to realize that when a company gets under $1, like North is right now, it gets really hard to get back out of that problem. It's like once they get under $1, the shorters get them, and it's like they start going lower and lower. Have you seen this trend? Vivo, HIP, happened to Vivo, HIP, Oxley. Sorry?
Oh my God, they've been down under $1 for like a year now.
Exactly. So this is what I'm trying to say. Like, we have to pay attention to these trends. When these stocks go under $1, it's almost like they can't get out of this. It's like being stuck in the mud. Yeah. They get under this $1 and they can't get out of this mud. They're in this hole and they can't get out of it. And it's a problem.
That's why
I think it's a problem.
Like 3 years in, the patterns have made their mark and they're all there. So why not just stick with the ones that have made their pattern? And the ones that are newer, I'm just waiting until they have something really predictably good, like some kind of stability. I like volatility for money, but I'm talking like stability in their company. I'm tired of playing with ones that are just a little too sketch for my bank,
Well, when you listen to all the experts, they say that 80% of these companies will be gone in 2 years because they're going to run out of money. Now, this is the other issue. You've got 400 companies. Everybody's trying to grow. So what's going to happen, what everybody's saying is going to happen, which is it's a very fair, I guess, analysis. They're saying what's going to happen is everyone's going to be growing and no one's going to be buying from them because the price is too high because everyone's still buying from their local drug dealer. That's right. So because everyone's still buying from the local drug dealers, the LPs, in order to compete, are going to have to drop their pricing down.
Yeah, or be more innovative in their products.
Yeah, but even being innovative, nobody cares. Like people they're going to save money. So if you've got a product that is not superior and it's more expensive, why would someone pay more when they can pay less? They have the option still. So unless the government does something to get rid of the black market, which they haven't done, and I guess they're trying to, but it's going to be very difficult, especially if their pricing is very high, then people are always going to go to the black market. And if 80% or more of the money is being spent on the black market, then how are the LPs going to make money?
Yeah.
I mean, so what's going to end up happening is they're going to have to reduce their pricing to compete with the street. Yeah. And if they have to reduce their pricing, that means they're reducing their profits. And that becomes a big problem. And a lot of the experts are saying that this industry is going to be like another dot-com bubble because a lot of these companies will not succeed. A lot of these companies will fail. And then at the end of the day, what will happen is there will be a few of the bigger ones and they will have relationships with people everywhere because they'll just buy out everybody. And they'll just operate under like the umbrella of Aurora Cannabis, for example, which has like 40 companies. They have 40 companies. Now, the reason why I like Zenabis and the reason why I own 10,000 shares of Zenabis and why I want more is because I've been watching this industry for 3 years and I've seen the companies that have exploded and I've seen the kind of way their management is. I've seen their share structures. I've seen their growth potential and I've seen how they've evolved. Zenabis reminds me a lot of Canopy Growth when it first got started. They have the same share structure. They're very clean and they run things very tight. They don't take too many chances. And the one thing I like about Zenabis is they've got the potential, the growth capacity to be almost as big as Aurora Cannabis and Canopy Growth. 479,300 kgs a year and 183,000 kgs a year of extraction. So 479,300 kgs a year of flower and 183,000 kgs of extraction, all in one company.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's Aurora Cannabis that's doing this with 40 companies or Canopy Growth that's doing this with 12 companies or 15 companies. This is one company that has all of that capacity and all of that extraction in one company that's operating coast to coast across Canada, has a license with Shoppers Drug Mart, has received government grants from the government of New Brunswick. No other Canadian companies got that. So why did Health Canada give them such a big license?
Because they're killing it. They're killing it. You brought Zenabis a long time ago, right? Like 6-8 months ago.
I brought Zenabis when it was at $2 initially, and back then it was BVO. Remember?
Yes, I do, because I jumped in.
It was Bevo, BEVO.
About it and their potential, I was like, I'm in, and I've been trading it for a while, and I'm actually really stoked about the price. So I bought a heap of it this week, and I'm planning on doing more next week as well. So
now listen, I want to remind you, okay, and I'm going to remind everybody. I know people that are on the inside of Zenabis, okay? I have never been compensated by the company to do any videos. I only talk about the company because A, I own it, and B, because I truly believe in it, because I've been there, I've seen the facilities, I've been in their vault, okay? I have seen the gates, I've seen their security guards, the cameras. It's crazy. I had to drive from one side of their Langley facility, which is 2 million square feet. I had to drive, and it took me a few minutes to get to the end. And that's filled with plants right now, and it's going to be filled with cannabis. They haven't even started, right? So I've seen this. So what happened was Zenabis was making money, but it was only like $4 million a quarter. They were trading at $2, and I brought that. I did the first video. Then they generated, what was it? 14, 17?
What were the numbers?
14 million. They did 14 million one quarter. It went from 4 million to 14 million. Bam. So because it went to 14 million, it was either 14 or 17 million. I can't remember right now. Too many numbers in my head. But it hit a big number. And all of a sudden, the stock exploded from $2 to $6.85.
I know, I remember that. I cashed out on that one.
Good. So, and so did I. So after that, the revenue went from 14 million or 17 million, whatever it was, to 4 million. So the stock started to go down. It went from 6 to 5 to 4. Then the next quarter after that, another 4 million. So to 3 to 2. Then they raised money, the kiss of death. They raised $25 million at $2.25. And I have friends that were buying because they're institutional investors. They're not institutional investors. They're accredited investors. So you have to be accredited to qualify. So they're accredited investors, and they called up Canaccord and they bought shares at $2.25. So when they went down to $1.40, that $25 million that was raised with all high net worth investors, they're all down like 50%, 60% on their money in like a month, 2 months. They got crushed, right? But the guys that I know are not even worried because they're all high net worth guys, and they're like, listen, we know that they need 25 million. And then you know what they're saying to me?
What?
They still need another 50 million. So don't rush to buy it because they still need to raise another 50 million. And the reason why this is getting shorted, because it is being shorted,
yeah, absolutely,
is because of the fact that people know on the street that they need to raise another 50 million.
Yeah. Okay.
When they raise that 50 million, it'll probably go lower.
You think so?
Well, yeah, because the last time they raised 25 million, it went from $2.25 to $1.40. Every
Well,
single company. No, but I just want you to I just want to show you what I'm seeing, okay? Because long term it's going to go way higher. But this is what they need. They need the 75 million because it's the same problem that Canopy Growth is having. In order for them to take 3.5 million square feet of vegetables and plants and convert it all into cannabis costs money.
Absolutely.
So it's going to cost $75 million. It also needs manpower. So Zenabis right now is advertising all across Canada for jobs. They already have over 400 employees. And if you go on Indeed, you will see they are hiring. Like 100 positions they're hiring for.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not exaggeration. That's a real amount. So they've already stated in press releases that they're going to grow their sales force or their team, their employees, from 400 employees to 2,500 by the end of 2019.
Okay.
So
that is insane.
this is what I'm trying to say. So they've got some problems along the way, which means they have to raise money, which is going to drive the price down still, which is why I'm waiting. Someone said to me, Rich, you want to buy 15,000 shares. Why didn't you buy when it was at 140? I'm like, because I know they still need to raise another 50 million.
Yeah.
So I own 10,000 shares, but I've been buying it as it's been going down. And the way I'm looking at it is, if it's going to go to $1, then I want to buy more because I don't mind this being my one long-term play. That is a smaller one right now that I just know in my heart of hearts one day is going to be bigger than almost anybody. Because realistically, when they reported 11.6 million in revenue in this quarter, so just so you know, it went from like 14 million to I think it was 17. I think it went from 17 million to 4 million to 4 million, and I think 4 million again. And then this quarter, we just had 11.6 million. So boom, big jump, 11.6 million. Now, my anticipation is every quarter from now on, it gets bigger. So,
As it should.
well, yeah, because they only had 1,300 kgs that they made 11.6 million with. So imagine by the end of 2019, they're supposed to be at a number of 200,000 kgs.
This is crazy numbers, right? Is
So
that crazy?
if you go
When
from
it's
1,300, if you go from 1,300 kgs and you're making 11.6 million, and then you increase to 200,000 kgs, how much more money are you going to be making every quarter?
It's gonna be sick. And that's the whole thing, you shouldn't be investing money that you need right now anyways. So
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I understand the markets. And people are going to do that. And I can't tell people what to do. I'm just trying to make people understand long-term what I see with this company. And what I see is a freaking giant, right? And I see a company that runs things very, very tight. I see a company that, they're not perfect. They make mistakes. They had a recall. They put too much THC in their product. So they decided to take it back. That's the way to do it, right?
Like I said, heaven forbid there's too much THC, but like you said, I mean, they're hardcore about what they're doing. So at least their quality is on point. At least they're doing what they're supposed to do. So they're not full of it.
I agree with you. So we're getting a lot of messages here. Sorry, guys, I went on a tangent on Xena. I had to kind of give you guys my perspective on it. And, I might be wrong. It could go to 0, guys. I don't know. But I don't think it will. I didn't think that Kronos Group would either, and I didn't think that Canopy Growth would either, and I didn't think that Aurora would either, or Organogram. But I remember, or Afria, but I remember over the last 2 years, all of them having problems along the way. Every one of them. Especially Organogram. Like, do you remember when they were under $2 and everyone said they were trash because they had pesticides in their stock? Like in their
didn't trust them either. I've only
in their crops.
in the last year.
They had
one of them.
They had pesticides in their crops, and now they've been one of the hottest stocks of 2019. I mean, that's just the way the market goes. You would have to be willing to wait to take advantage of that move. It took 2 years. But look at what happened to the people that were willing to wait on Organogram. That was a great buying opportunity because it was a good company that had a lot of upside, that had some really bad news. And what did they do? They turned it around, and now they're on the senior exchange, and they made a lot of investors a lot of money. And they're also poised to be one of the biggest players in edibles. So I think Organigram has a great future.
I do too. I do. But it took me, I've only been back in the Organogram training for a year now because they lost me for a while. But I think they cleaned up. I think they cleaned up their messes pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, gold breakout full alert, says Lucas Oak. Yeah, you know, gold's been doing well. Gold's been doing well. Anthony Alvarez says, Rich, you were right. Zenabis is going to be big. I have 10,000 shares, and I'm going to add another 5,000 when the price is right. You know, I just hope you win big, Anthony. I'm glad that you see what I see. I'm just trying to look at the fundamentals, but you know what? You never know. You know, if something, if something doesn't look good, then you got to be careful. You got to be very, very careful.
What are your guys' favorites for December? Which edibles? Days?
I like Organogram.
Yeah, me too.
I like Organogram.
Mm-hmm. And Canopy. I'm still Organogram and Canopy are my faves in that. And obviously, I'm excited to see what Hexo brings just because we've been waiting a long time to see what they're going to do when we can go there. So, yeah. Kind of interested on that one too.
So, what do you think is going to happen next week? I'd love to know your opinion.
Me? I don't know. I really don't. That's the thing. I'm spending this entire weekend going through. I just deleted all my old watch lists this morning when I woke up, and I remade a new watch list, and I'm basically dissecting. Let's see how many I have in there. Let me count it out. Oh, snap. I only have 23. So I'm dissecting all 23 just to see what this week's going to bring. Truthfully, I think it might be a good Monday. I want to get in Canopy. I might suck it up and get in Tilray. I'm not sure yet. I'm still having a moral homo battle with that one. And I need more MedMen. So I'm kind of hoping they might make me some money this week. But if not, I'll still wait because I know they'll bring it soon. How about you?
I like those picks. I'm waiting for the Zenabis license. The Langley license is supposed to be in Q2. They're already saying that they're expecting to be growing in Langley by Q3. They're already putting that in press releases. So this license is supposed to be coming out like now, like this week coming up. So I'm really anxiously waiting on that. I'm really interested in Aleafia Health. I'm very interested in Radiant Technologies. And then on the big board scale, I've been really looking at IIPR, but it's just so crazy. So went up to 137, then back down to like 111, then I saw it at 117. Like it's just going crazy. So I can't really kind of gauge it, but it was just going up every day, like all week until today.
I'm waiting to be back in Boss.
Which
Boss
one?
was Boss.
Oh, Boss.
Boss, yeah. I got in that IPO back in, I think it was early January, end of December. Wrote it up, cashed out, and I want back in. So it's starting to come down, but I think they have some good things in the works that are going to pay off soon enough. Mm-hmm.
I think that another company that I've been very interested in is, like right now especially, is Afria.
Mm-hmm.
I think Afria is getting to a point where it's definitely in a buy zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
as it is.
And I don't know how much lower it's going to go, but for such a big company to be trading at these levels, you have to think at some point, they don't have the dilution that Aurora does. So you have to think at some point that Afria is going to be a buy here.
They got shorted hard, and then I think, just like we talked about Organogram, it takes traders, investors a while to get their trust back. So hopefully it comes soon. I'm still in Afria. I love Afria. I have. I didn't give up on it when everybody was trashing it. I didn't. I was still there and
So what, you
staying.
just hold it? You don't trade it?
I trade my profits
Okay.
if I can get. Yeah.
And I mean, when Afria was at
Yeah.
$5 after the big short attack, and Afria went to $5, that was like the buy of the century, and then it went right back up to like over 10.
Yeah.
And at
Because
that
we were
point,
talking about that in the community, and I made it known that I was loading, and I took so much slack for that. People were like, "Oh, it's so stupid! I can't believe you're doing that." And then what? 2 weeks later, I was like,
yeah, exactly, genius. You know,
"So
you're following your gut. Your gut says a good company trading at a 52-week low is a good buying opportunity,
yeah, absolutely." That's
right?
like I said, sticking with the good ones and not playing the little games anymore. I think
Well,
everyone's showing their true colors, and
yeah,
sticking with
absolutely.
that.
And you know what? You're playing with real money, so why not put your money in the real ones? Because you deserve that. You know,
Yeah.
I think there's a very good likelihood on the next bull run that we could see Tilray and Canopy both flirt with $100.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I
Wouldn't
think
that
it's
be
gonna
nice?
happen. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen. I can almost see it happening. They're just two monsters. I think Tilray is destined to be an absolute giant.
Oh, I have. And like it started out as a giant and it's just, yeah, it's come down. I think a lot of people took profits, obviously. I mean, it was, look at the people who bought in at like what, 14 or $16. And if they wrote it up to 300, of course you want that cash. Of course you do. But I think once it comes back down, don't you want back in? So I was telling you I was kicking myself because I gave myself a buy zone at $35 and it only went down to 36 and I missed it and I'm still beating myself hard. But now we're at 50 and I'm like, yeah, it's a struggle. I want it. I
I
want it
know.
bad.
I know. Honestly,
So
Tilray and Canopy both are
yeah,
like tempting, which is crazy because they're both at $50.
I know. But the upside is so much huger. Like we've
They're
already
so
seen it
good.
happen.
They're so good.
So
And I think Tilray has like 60 million, 70 million shares, if I'm correct. Canopy has about 300 million. So that's obviously the biggest difference there. You know,
yeah.
Tilray has a much tighter float, but I believe Canopy is a better company. It's a bigger
Yeah.
company for sure.
But
But
Tilray will get there, I think. I believe in them.
well,
I
Tilray's
really
gonna get there because Tilray's got what Canopy doesn't have is they've got the key to America.
mm, agree.
They've been given the green light by the DEA.
Yes,
Tilray's been
right?
given the green light by the DEA.
From our little island, our small little Vancouver island, and their blast off.
That
So yeah, I'm
Tilray
pretty proud, and I
Tilray's
always
revenue
believed in them. I
Til-
just felt
Tilray's
that they were
revenue
like,
is slowly growing. It's I think
yeah,
it was 17 million last quarter, and I mean it was like literally nothing when they were at $300, like nothing.
exactly.
So they were at $300 when they were making less than 5 million a quarter. Now they're making 17 million a quarter and they're at 50. So
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy. This entire sector is crazy, and we've been watching it for 2.5 years, and we're going to continue to watch it. We've been live for almost 58 minutes.
Oh my God, time flies when you're having fun, huh?
I know. So I think we should kind of finish this off pretty soon here. Anthony has a question. What are your thoughts about USA MSOs? Do you think they have to be as big as Canopy? I think the USA MSOs are going to be huge. I think you can already see it with the revenue. The top 20 cannabis companies, I would say revenue wise, I would say at least 13 of them are American. And I think that trend continues because you can't compare. You're comparing America, 300 million people, to Canada, 30 million people. It's just not a fair comparison. And America is just a much bigger country and they are the largest consumers in the world. So they're going to consume way more cannabis than Canadians. That's just a fact.
And a whole lot less black market, I think, as well. You know, I really do think that they have less access to black market than we did in Canada. I say did because I haven't been there for 14 months. Do in Canada. You know?
You know what? I don't know the statistics on that, but I know for a fact in America it was always a federal offense just to have a roach, like to have a joint. It was like a federal offense. So that's really different than Canada. So for sure, that's going to deter people from selling the product if it can put you in jail for years right? So that's why, yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
There is
That's
a
why
huge,
you breed here in Indonesia. Like all of Indo is there's no weed. You can get access to so many other things a lot easier than you can find weed because I'm pretty sure it's like 5 years, no questions asked for sharing a joint. Like it's crazy. So
yeah,
yeah, I miss
that's some
that.
scary stuff.
It
5 years,
is.
no questions asked for sharing a joint. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
That's
Terrible.
a crazy way
Much
to
worse
live,
to
man.
imagine. So yeah, thanks. I'm really good in my villa, and I have wine, so that does the trick.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Amanda? Thank you for joining once again. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
No, thanks for
We've
having
been
me.
live for an hour. Okay. Thank you guys that are watching at home. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining us. Have yourselves a great weekend. Hopefully next week we have a better week. This week was a good week until today. For the most part, I think we had like 4 green days in a row until Friday. So it's
Fridays
kind.
are often red though, so
Yeah.
just try to get out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it is what it is. Hopefully, we can all just enjoy our weekend, do some research, do some due diligence, get ready for a big week next week, and hopefully, we finish strong. If not, then we at least put June behind us, and we start July. And July last year was the start of the resurrection of legalization of cannabis. And this year, October 17, 2019, we have legalization 2.0 as a catalyst. So stay tuned. Hopefully, we see another huge catalyst and we see an explosion again in the cannabis stocks and we can get a chance to make some money together as a community. I want you guys at home to win. Amanda, I want you to win. And I would love to win
Yeah.
too.
Thanks. It was so fun.
All right, let's do it again. Let's see that pool one more time. I want to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see your
Got it.
pool. Yeah, that sun looks nice.
Oh, you see my new seashell?
That looks sweet.
Yeah.
I gotta come visit.
Yes, absolutely. Mi casa y su casa.
It looks beautiful.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go have some mermaid time.
Okay, have fun. Enjoy your Saturday. Amanda is a day ahead of us in Indonesia. It's Saturday. What time is it there?
9:52 a.m. Saturday.
Okay, well, I don't want to take any more time. Go enjoy the beautiful weather. Have fun. Enjoy your Saturday. This is Rich from Rich TV Live with Amanda from Indonesia, and we're out. Peace.